Okay, so now what we have here, I have two Makita rails. One of them has dogs on the bottom, bench dogs, and those bench dogs look like this. They actually have kind of like a T-nut on the end so that they actually slide in the channel on the bottom of the track, and they, you just twist them to secure them in place. So that's what I have on this rail here. So I'm just going to kind of demonstrate the difference as far as in using this rail. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the holes here. First I have to loosen it to get it lined up, and then put it in, right? So it's flush with the table, it's flat, you know, and so if I'm going to pick this up, right, as long as it's loose, well, even now, you see, I kind of have to finagle it to get it to come up out of the table. And so you see how difficult that was for me to get off. Now imagine having to do that with every single cut. And, you know, obviously that's flat on the table, but what I found is you have to kind of keep both dogs kind of loose to get it out easier. But the problem with that, when I go and put it back in here, is you have a lot of shift and shimmy here, so that means you're not going to have as accurate of a cut. Now when I tighten this down on both sides, so I got it on this side, let me go around on the other side. And I tighten that down, what that does is it takes all the play out. But watch me try to take it off now. So I got it off, but basically that's a bit much in my opinion to have to do every single time you're actually making a cut. Now there is an alternative to that, which happens to be these UJK rail clips. And essentially what these do is there's a channel here on the top of the rail, and you actually slide these in to that channel like so, and then you take some bench dogs and you put them in place. Let's see, I'll have to put it this here because if I put it too far back, it's going to actually bump into my fence. So I'm going to put it over here and here. Now the benefit to this is it's so much easier to get on and off. So I actually pull the fence out like this, and then I just flatten it, and then I make my cut. And there's no play in that, and that's pretty easy, right? Now over time, these little clips could actually get bent out of place. That's one, which would, you know, alter your cut. The other thing is, on this particular bench, I actually have two cut lines on this far right. The reason why I have two cut lines is because when you introduce the bench dog with these clips, it actually changes your cut line. So let me see if I can actually, so you tilt the rail up and lift it off, and then obviously you have to put the rail somewhere after you finish making your cut. So let me try to go over one more and see if this works. Just slide it on. So in that way it's a lot easier. All right, so on my fence, right, at this point, and I'll kind of swing the camera around so you can see it. At this point, I'm actually going to cut into my rail under the under rail on my fence. So this location is not going to work. So then when I go one location over, which is where I was before, my cut line is extended by about, I'll say about 3 inches past my normal cut line when I am using this other method, which I'll set up right over here, which is just like this. Actually, go back. Here. Yeah, see, I'm even having problems just getting it in because you need that little bit of play. Alright. So, let me bring the camera around so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So before, as I said, it's right here. When I actually move the fence over one hole, which would be right here, the actual fence moves all the way back to cutting this part of my guide rail off, right? So I can just demonstrate that one more time. So I lift the fence up and off, which is really easy. As I said, you have to have somewhere to put the rail when you take it off. Across here, you grab the fence, slide it on, slide it on, and then as I put it down, there you go. So my cut line runs the risk of going through my rail, right? And then you also see where it doesn't. So normally my fence is kind of next to this area of the fence, and this part is under the rail. So if I had a longer rail, it wouldn't even work here. So it would actually have to be over, which moves my cut line over a bit, which isn't major, but then you think about it, you know, I only have from here to the edge of the board as my cutoff, right? Over here, on my other setup here, this is what I was conventionally using, which, as I said, I'm using these rail dogs with the T-nut on the bottom that you just kind of unscrew and screw and slide it in the bottom T-track. Now, with that one, you know, you see my cut line, that's the cut line that I'm always using, right? Now, but the problem is getting the rail out is just a little bit of a headache. Now, by comparison, let's look at option 3, which is the reason why I purchased the Festool MFT. Let's kind of zoom out here and kind of get that in frame a bit. All right, so with the Festool MFT, it's just a simple lower, put my piece in, do my cut, lift it up. There's a place for the rail to sit. I can grab my next piece of stock, pull it down, cut. So for smaller pieces, for sure, for smaller repetitive cuts, I think that this is a better solution than, you know, my home built MFT. Now, as I said, I could have added the add the dashboard feature to my large MFT, and the only reason why I did not do that is because when I looked to order the dashboard setup, which I want to say is about $250, they were basically sold out until March, and I didn't want to wait that long. And this was probably about a month ago when I considered that, because I've had this table now, I want to say close to a month. I bought it and it was just kind of to the side because I was doing the lighting and doing other things here in the shop. So yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I bought the Festool MFT3. And then also too, if I ever move from this location, this monster MFT is more than likely going to have to be broken down, and you know, something is going to happen with it. Whereas with this table, it is portable and I can take it to wherever my next location is and do what I need to do. Now, even though this is portable, from what I can see here, you've got the overhang of the fence over here, overhang on the back. All this equipment has to be taken off every time you move this table, or else you're going to run the risk of damaging, you know, the table, which will obviously knock it out of square and just kind of tear your stuff up. So what I used was this another use for this TSO multifunctional triangle was, you know, it's got these actual additions that you can add on. It comes with the kit. Doesn't come with the triangle by itself, but if you buy the kit, then it comes together to go in here and square this up. So you see there's no play as I try to wiggle that back and forth, because I use this triangle, which is highly accurate, to square up my MFT, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the squaring process and that I use for the table. The reason why I bought it, I've already mentioned. Now, me purchasing this table, I've seen a lot of people that have moved on from the Festool MFT, and some of them have upgraded to the dashboard setup. Some of them have gone to the more, you know, just like a benchdogs.co.uk fence, or maybe the UJK fence, and then just using the dogs as I displayed there. For me, as I said, I'm trying to become a little bit more efficient. Like I feel like I'm not able to get to my my projects because I'm always just getting set up, and before I know it, it's Monday again, and I'm back to work for the work week. So this right here is going to help out along with other additions. So anyways, thanks for taking time to hear me ramble in this video. Don't know what else to say. Thanks for taking time to hear me ramble in the video. I'll see you in the next video if you happen to partake.